What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Building Endor in LEGO episode. We are at week number 6. Got a lot of exciting and fun stuff to show you all today. I worked mostly on the Ewok Village. It's pretty much done, so I'm going to be showing you guys the final product, including some custom lights we got going on in there as well. It's going to really give that like night Endor vibe, which is going to be super cool. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. That way you don't miss any of these updates. Of course, with every update, we have our weekly donors. I want to give a huge thank you to the following incredible people. This week we have Brix Films, TJ Brix, SW Brix and Figs, Jamie Dorr, Hydrave, SW Brix 7, and Jenny Schlegel. Hopefully I said that right. Thank you guys so much for contributing to the project. Of course, guys, all the funds you guys donate on streams, and even my members, all the revenue goes right back into funding the mock, so you guys are playing an equal part of this project, so thank you all so much. And one more quick thing, of course, you guys know the drill here. I want to give a huge thank you to our Building Endor in LEGO series sponsor, Firestar Toys. They have generously supplied the project with a bunch of custom printed arms for Stormtroopers, Death Troopers, Scout Troopers, and a bunch of cool printed minifigures as well, and I'm sure some more stuff coming up soon. So guys, make sure you go ahead and check out the links down below in the description. You can use my coupon code BrickWiz15. You'll save 15% off your entire order across the board, no exclusions. Definitely go check out the links down below in the description. Huge thank you to Firestar Toys. So we took last week off. I feel like I've been missing every other week, honestly, for the past couple of weeks, and that's just the way it's been, but I'm really happy and really content. We did 2 live streams this week, and I got a ton of stuff done. We finished the entirety of the lake water, and we finished the entirety of the Ewok Village on the lake, which I'm going to be showing you guys today, which looks super awesome. I gotta say, I think this was probably the hardest thing I've had to come up with a design for. The tents we've been trying to recreate these past few weeks have been really challenging to recreate. They're such a unique shape, and of course with LEGO, you know, you're limited in what you can do, but I think we figured out a great way to recapture those tents. And again, this is something that most Endor mocks don't have, so I think it's kind of fun to see that Ewok Village / tents on the lake itself, on the platforms, which looks super cool. And like I said, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe down below. You're not gonna want to miss any of these videos. We got some banger videos coming up this entire week and all through the end of 2020, so make sure you guys stay tuned. And without further ado, let's jump on into today's video. So after a bunch of hours of transferring different colors onto different tents and all this cool stuff, we finally have the Ewok Village on the lake, and there are some cool things I do want to point out, obviously, and a few things I also kind of want to point out that I was a little bit disappointed about that I wasn't able to find a solution for. But first off, this is the scale of the Ewok Village on the lake here. As you can see, it fits pretty perfectly. There's like a nice excess of the lake and all the green and stuff like that, but there's not too much overcrowding, which I think came out really nice. So the Ewok Village, as you guys know, we did prototyping last week. There is the 2 sections. We have the L shape and the long shape right here. I first started this week by taking the prototype design I had for the tents and basically just recoloring them to make it look like the actual color that I wanted. That being said, the one thing for this week that I was a little bit upset about, as you guys can see here, we have dark bluish gray clips. These are these guys holding these long bars. These don't come in either dark brown, and they only come in reddish brown, but they're super expensive. They're like $2 each. So obviously I couldn't justify spending that much money on it. So that's sort of the only thing. I'm not sure if that's going to be something we're going to fix in the future, or if it even like detracts from anything. To be honest, I think the dark bluish gray kind of adds a nice little breakup in the color of brown, but overall, I mean, that's the only thing that I was really upset about. But I cannot be more happy with how this village turned out. This tent design was super hard for me to come up with, and seeing it like finally built, and I think I'm gonna say this is the best that I can do when recreating that tent from that initial image that we have to go off of, and I'm really proud of how it came together. So a few different things we changed though. So on the bottom here, you guys can see here we have these like little pipe pieces. Now these are two different elements. In the original prototype design, we had one element going from top to bottom. Unfortunately, the brown pipe that is the one here, I think I actually have it right here. So this is the piece that we used in the beginning to prototype. As you can see here, it's pretty much the entire thing. But unfortunately, the brown version of this guy right here is super expensive, and it was just crazy. It would not have been financially responsible to do that. So I decided to just do it in two separate pieces. So we have the studs on the bottom that kind of stand up and like act as stilts for the rest of the platform and the rest of the actual hut itself, and then we have the pipes going upwards again to try to cover that that side, I guess, and to make it look super realistic and super rugged. And I think that's one of the coolest things I like about this Ewok Village, is that it may not look as clean, but that's the point, right? I mean, they're Ewoks, they're using the woods and the trees and all these natural resources, so it's kind of exciting to see them look a little bit janky and a little bit not professional, which I think kind of ends up looking really nice. So in terms of that, we did build two of the larger teepees and then one of the smaller ones. You guys can see here, it's just the same as this top section, just by itself without the bottom section right there. So that's just to give it some variation, just to make it a little bit nicer to look at. We also did plate and tile off the bottom of all the sections right here, so it's a mix of tile and plate, which I think was, it was a pretty easy to come up with, if I'm being honest, but it was just something that I felt was necessary to the actual project to make it look super cool, again, to make that wooden platform look super realistic and something like it was really crafted from the woodland areas of Endor and not something imperial. Another cool thing I did end up adding was a pretty cool Easter egg, which I mean I think is kind of important in any Endor mock. Right here we have, of course, the iconic scenes where the Ewoks do have the helmets of the Imperials, and they are doing their thing, and they're sort of, banging their drums and stuff like that. I do plan on making this section a little bit more extravagant in the future, but right here in the middle we have two Stormtrooper helmets, a Death Trooper, and then a Scout Trooper, and then they're just mounted on like the little wand pieces, and I think it looks pretty cool. It's sort of like an iconic thing. I feel like you kind of need to do something like that, so we have a bunch of Ewoks here with the flame torches just sort of gathering around their prized possessions of winning against the Empire. A few other things, we did actually raise the platforms of the Ewok Village up a little bit. We raised it to a brick high, so it looks like there's a little bit more depth that goes in between all of them, which I think ended up looking really nice. We also did add a few different areas of fire torches just to give it a little bit more of an Ewok aesthetic. So we have torches placed, every so often here. I try not to overdo it, but again, the concept is, when you take a step back and you look at it, and you're going to see, of course, you're going to see like the Ewok Village here, but then you're also going to see the trees and the big platform. Like, it's going to look dwarfed, which is going to be pretty crazy because this thing's pretty big. I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to say about this platform, except the one thing, and that is we do have lights. If you noticed when we were doing a little mini tour throughout the entire section, you might have noticed some wires. So I have actually managed to get some wires underneath the platform, some battery packs, and we actually have lights inside each of these tents, which is going to look super cool. So give me 1 second, I'm going to flip them all on and we'll see what it looks like in the dark, and hopefully, if all goes to plan, it's going to look pretty cool and probably going to be the coolest thing we've done so far. So let's do that. So I'm only going to leave one light on, so let's pretend this is like the moonlight. I think that like represents the moon at nighttime. I'm so happy with how these lights ended up. These are BrickZz lights. BrickZz has been a sponsor for multiple past projects, so huge thank you to BrickZz for discounting me on some of these products. I'll leave their links down below. But I essentially put these mini batteries underneath the platforms here, and then I was able to wire the lights into the tent, so it looks like there's actual light sources coming from the tents. And of course, if you sort of take a look at that as like the moonlight over there, it really reflects. You can see the beautiful lights reflecting off of the lake, and then of course you have all the lights going on within the Ewok tents themselves, and it just looks super nice. It just gives it this super realistic nighttime look, and I think, like I said, we're going for a nighttime theme with this Endor project, and I think this is a phenomenal start to achieving that by the time that we actually complete the project. I do wish I had enough lights to light up every single one of these flames. I don't think that's entirely possible, especially which is how many battery packs I would need and just all that kind of stuff. So I think the lights are fine, at least for the flame pieces, but the big thing I wanted to get right was, inside the tents and getting that light shining down on the bottom, illuminating the area around the tents, so it kind of looks like this really, eccentric village, I guess, if you could say. Like, there's a lot of stuff, like, there's a lot of stuff going on, all this cool stuff, and I really am happy with the way with these lights turned out. Of course, there might be some smaller details that might need to be added going forward, but I mean, maybe like another light source somewhere around here, perhaps. But I think having these larger teepees like lit up is just gonna add another dimension to this mock, especially like I said, when you put it, we're gonna have the giant Imperial platform here, and AT-AT, everything's gonna be lit up, fires everywhere, like it's gonna be so cool. And this is just a brief glimpse of what we're going for. So I spent a lot of time, believe it or not, probably like an hour trying to figure out how to manage all the cables and stuff like that for this particular scene in regards to the lights, and I'm really happy with how it came out. So very content, needless to say, with all this kind of stuff. So I think that when, you know, we're taking a look up top here, you can see all the Ewok Village tents are lit up. You can see that there's a lot of livelihood going on, some cool and exciting things, which is nice. If you're interested, it's actually really easy. It's basically just a light that's connected to a, like, I think it's a hinge plate, and then you just connect it to the top of it. It shines down. It gives it that aesthetic that, you know, the light is hitting the ground. And, you know, once we put this in the backdrop of everything else, it's gonna look so cool. So I'm super happy about this guy, and you can even see it too. I'll turn back on my studio light. You know, it does do a phenomenal job. You can still even see like the light's still on even with the studio light, but if we do turn off the studio light, you can see here the lights do come on and all that great stuff. So this is turning out fantastic. This is like the main part that I wanted to show you guys this week. I do hope that you all like this so far. I do hope you guys like this so far. Of course, if you have any recommendations, definitely let me know. But I'm super happy, and I'm so excited to think of all the trees in the backdrop that's gonna go. I mean, guys, this is only a 15th of the mock. It's crazy. We're gonna continue the shoreline next week, hopefully expand that. But again, this was the main focus, and I'm super happy with how this came out. But with that being said, let's go to the outro of today's video. So I hope the 2-week wait was worth it. I certainly think so. Like I said, I feel like a broken record at this point. Working, school, all that kind of stuff. It does take up a lot of time, but I do want to work on getting more time devoted to the project. And I think I've been able to slowly get better at that. I think going, you know, into like the later half of December into January when I'm on break, we're gonna really see some progress being pumped out, which is gonna be super fun. But I'm perfectly happy with at this rate we're going. I know a lot of you might think it's a little bit too slow, but in all honesty, it's a rate that works for me. I'm really happy with the progress we've had so far, especially this week. I think this week might be my favorite episode because we finally have some structure. You know, it's not just a lake and water and black tile and whatever. It's we're finally starting to see the aspects of Endor that make it Endor. We're starting to see the parts of the project that you'll be able to recognize and immediately conclude that it is Endor and not just some random planet with a black muddy lake. So it's exciting going forward. It's exciting. It's been taking up a lot of time, but nonetheless, I love it. I have a clear passion for it, and this stuff is just super fun to me. So if you guys did enjoy today's progress, if you like the way the Ewok Village came out, let me know down below in the comments. Of course, drop a like if you guys did enjoy today's video. Going forward, I think we're going to spend the next 2 weeks or so trying to get a lot of the terrain done. Obviously, Endor is not like an Axis. It's not like any other projects I've done before. It's a lot of terrain in there. There's a lot of intricate terrain that has to look good. So we're going to spend the next few weeks on that. I'm also going to start generally ordering parts for the AT-AT coming up very soon. Of course, we need the walker to scale everything down. So I think we're going to be moving on to the walker fairly soon, which is something I wasn't expecting, but I think it's necessary because I don't want to build, you know, the platforms and the trees and have it be super out of scale or disproportionate with that walker. I have to go in and redo it. Just seems like more work for myself. We'll have like a decent amount of progress with that terrain, maybe even starting the creek that goes pretty much throughout the entirety of the project, and probably even start to prototype some designs for that giant landing platform, which is going to be probably the main part of the project. So lots of cool, exciting stuff coming up, guys. If, like I said in the beginning of the episode, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Don't want to miss any of these videos. We have some cool, exciting stuff coming up, even more dope stuff than that village right there. So if you guys did enjoy, drop a like. Let me know down below in the comments. We got exciting videos this week. We got some more I Display It stuff coming up. We got some big mega hauls, some more battle packs. As you all know, my dangerous obsession, which is borderline uncontrollable, but that's okay. I'll see you later. Take it easy. Peace.